mic was on the whole time. Well, how about that, everybody? Welcome to another week of GunPla and Chill. Super sorry for the delay on getting this out, especially because I know it's been like clockwork. Routine is key for me, especially with all my things going on. So, bringing you special build this tonight. I'm super excited to show off some of these things as well. We were at a really fun. I know. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be there recently. Funny story about it is that I ended up having on my flight into my next area for work. They ended up having a bird fly into one of the engines, and it happened to be the engine on the side that I was on. So that felt fun and strange at the same time. And so, but yeah, so I was, we were on the plane. They canceled the flight, of course. They landed back at the airport that I originally took off from, and then I had to find another flight. And so I spent the whole day Sunday, instead of doing what I love, building Gundams, talking to you, I was in the airports, driving in a car, going from one place to the other. So finally got to my destination late Sunday evening, and it was already way too late. It was like midnight Eastern time, so I was exhausted from all the traveling. So super sorry about that. But here we are tonight. We're actually going to be doing some really good work as well. I did leave a promise. I was going to show you a couple things, especially with the scratch build. Because I really like the idea of having that my Deathscythe Hell at home, to have the backpack that it came with, as well as being able to close up its wings in the back. And so, it wasn't really a great way to show this on camera because it just takes time. But I made the solution, made it in a glass bottle. This is actually it being worn out over some time, and so, but you can see it's kind of like started to solidify inside of it. But this was some pieces that I cut out from it. We saw that. And then put it in here, put some Tamiya cement in there as well, and it made it literally into this same color cement that we see here. So we actually can kind of see how it kind of made the lines there. Now granted, we're going to paint over this though anyway, because I don't like the color, but if you want to do that method and you're not looking to paint the piece, it'll actually blend in really nicely. The other thing I had to do for this as well, to finish the scratch build, is actually fill this in with putty. And so if you see, it's got some lumps and some lumps per se, even some like fingerprint marks as well. But overall, it's mostly flat. And so the next stage for this piece would be to actually get a file and sand this out to make it nice and flat. And you can see the areas there's some areas right here that are not flat. So we just sand this out, flatten this out with this versus our sandpaper. Awesome. Evo Mikey, way to jump in there and get that Aegis Master Grade taken care of. That's going to be beautiful. And so we just would file this down until it's all nice and smooth across the board. And then I would do the same thing. And actually this is some older plastic, so a file is still going to be your best friend for it. Even so much so that I actually went out and bought a new set. So you'll see the difference in the scratching of getting those things off specifically. So just showing you a little bit here. I'm going to do the rest of that scratch build. I'll show you guys the final product just in Discord. But oh man, this is a file. Ooh, oh yeah, nice and clean. So much better than that other one I was using. But this is a messy job, and also note that resin and epoxy like this it's actually not great to inhale, so never like breathe in right before you maybe blow off the dust or something like that. Just as a fair warning and heads up. But yeah, so just gotta file this down. And then once it's smooth enough, then you just go back with sandpaper and then just smooth it out overall in general. So that'll make it nice and very pretty in general. I'm also going to use the files though to sand these down, because this older plastic is super hard, and so this will help out with it once again getting nice and level at first, and then we'll go back with once again the sandpaper to finish up. So big thing to note once again is that with scratch builds, expect them to be ugly at first, but what's really going to be great is that we're going to be painting this piece. So because we're going to be painting it, all the ugliness is going to be hidden by the paint itself. So that's how we scratch build some parts. And so I'm excited to see this one finish, and I'll probably finish it sometime this week. I got some time as well. But there we go. Got any questions? Throw them in the chat, throw them in Discord. Happy to talk about anything else with scratch building. Nothing too crazy right now. But yeah, there we go, and you can see just smoothing out those pieces right there. Yeah, nice and smooth right there. It's gonna look nice once it's done. It's gonna take some work, but it's gonna look nice. But that is not why we are here today. So we got that part taken care of. I actually took the old backpack for Deathscythe, put it on his back. It looks really great together as well. Got the Buster shield there too, and so we're actually going to take it off, because that's also one thing that we're going to... Oh! Got some scratches during transport that time. Right there. It's kind of not bad, though. You may even leave it. So we're going to do some decal work, and we're also going to do some panel lining as well. So I got a few tools here to show that off. We're going to start out first with our panel lining. So I brought with me my wash. Yeah, that's great for jumping in there. And thanks for sharing that you're going to be... I know it's nervous to paint, but once you get started, it's going to be great. I promise you. So some things need painting, and some things really don't from this. Excuse me, panel lining. So for instance, right here, probably nothing needs to be panel lined. Nice and clean. You can technically, like... I mean, I have seen it, people taking like a liquid chrome marker and then highlighting these specifically right here to make it look like that cell shaded effect. That's not my flair, that's not my style as well. Plus, I don't think my hand is that steady to be super good looking. But what areas should be panel lined? Well, this is kind of like a little dent right in here, and so it may have some show. But this right here, that is, let me see, that right there is definitely prime panel lining material. Right here at the edge of the knee, prime panel lining material as well. And then definitely right here down the center is going to be prime panel lining material. I don't know if that's any better. So you can see a little bit more of the lines opening. And so we got a little bit of natural, like, just armor separation as well, which should look fine. All right, let's go with that. All right, so we're gonna use two different things here. So pure black paint as well as black wash. The black paint is gonna be used for those bigger open lines, and then the wash is gonna be used to hug materials specifically as well. So we're gonna show both off here as well. It's gonna be pretty quick because we just have a little bit to panel line. I am actually having to take one of these off because this does have some scratches here that I'm not a fan with. So, and I have actually done some scribe lines before. As a matter of fact, I do have some parts here for Gundam Wings Day as well. We actually did a scribing right here in this bad boy. That was a scribe specifically. This was not part of it. I do actually most of my scribes, if anything, on my high grades to get rid of seam lines specifically. That's where I like to do them the best. Especially because like some of these rounded parts, it can get really tough to do scribing, in my opinion. And sometimes just the purity of it is what it gets me as well with some of these master grades. So I don't think I've ever scribed a master grade yet, but I've done it for a number of high grades though. Plus the lines don't have to be as long, weirdly enough. Oh, so we also have the scythe to decal up as well today. But yeah, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do, and let's get started with it. I keep here, this is actually just a leftover toothpaste cap that really helps out with holding just a little bit of wash in general. And so a wash is pretty liquidy as well. And I've got two different brushes that I'll be using. This one is a it's a fine point brush per se. This is great because it holds a fair amount of liquid. You can see how much black tip is there, but it's also small enough to get really easily in between all these line areas. So let's go ahead and do one right here. And don't worry if it doesn't stick, just grab some more wash in there. I definitely want to show you this one as well because this specific panel line is going to be a little bit different than most. I also, if I don't paint a part, it's really great to put like a top coat over it before you actually panel line, and then top coat again afterwards to seal up the panel line. So we can see it's a little bit there. Let me turn down my white exposure. That's what's going on here. See if I get that looking a little bit better. So this is how we're kind of looking right now. Which doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look great as well. Ooh, that's way too much. Oh yeah, there we go, that's perfect. So yeah, we can see that it's a little bit, I mean, we have a panel line there. It looks doable at least. But there's still like a little bit of white gap. So two things you can do is to go over it again to make it a little bit darker. And the good news is about wash, it just easily comes off with either just wiping it or just using like a little bit of water. So that's the case. However though, I'm going to do something a little bit different. It's a big area for panel line. So I brought here with me a paint palette. So I'm going to put like literally a drop of this, maybe a drop and a half. Get my brush wet, mix this up a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is literally paint inside this little line. I got it once again, I thinned out the paint just a little bit with the water. That's a nice solid panel line for this bad boy. Like that's what we're looking for here. And that's like that technique only works with like those big deep ones. And so we're going to do that real quickly for all of them because this paint still does dry pretty quickly. So we're going to do the side of the leg right here. And you still can do the same thing, just wipe away. Gotta be quick though. And I noticed as soon as I got here that I didn't bring any Q-tips with me to clean up. I am also very guilty of using saliva. So we got a nice deep panel line there. If it's, you need a little bit more water, get a little bit more water. You want it to be pretty smooth and also easily to wipe away. That's the key here. There we go. almost well enough. I do actually have some thinner here with me. I'm gonna put in a napkin. As soon as I find my napkin, I thought I got one in here. I would bet my bottom dollar, but give me just one moment. Infinite supplies at a hotel. So just putting it straight onto it. Treating it almost like my cotton ball or a cotton swab. And then we're just gonna wipe away in it. This is just normal paint thinner to get that off. And it will also work in the wash too. Any excess will just wipe away. Now once again, that works in those deep, deep crevices. So we got our nice little extra lines there. We got one more to do here in the back of the leg. This is a joining piece as well, which means you want to make sure you get it on both sides. There we go. I'm going to actually clean off my brush here in between legs. Got just a little bit of excess, so I'm going to wipe that away. It's also a great way to, if you want to cause some weathering, that's why wash is also super good to do for your panel lines. Because where is dirt and grime going to stick in? You got it. Right there in the crevices. So I'm going to go over it one more time. I am blowing on it a little bit here to get it to dry just a little bit faster as well, so that way I don't wipe away too much. And once again, it's a little bit harder with paint than it is with the wash. For these deep lines though, you definitely want to use a brush. Got a little bit of extra residue here, and it's because I sanded it, so I'm actually just going to go with my highest grit and sand over it again, and it's going to get all that extra right on out of there. Last but not least, nice. That's what we're looking for right there. Side, front, all the panel lines. Now for these other ones though, these smaller areas, we're literally just going to go straight with our wash, just right here, and let our wash actually do the work. So our wash is actually going to hug the line itself and make that happen. Not very much to do for it. Now what's also pretty cool about it as a wash is that if you let it dry, you can then wipe it still later with just a little bit of water, paint thinner, whatever your favorite poison is for that. Yeah, so we're going to let that sit and dry, even though it's not like perfect. You can kind of see it's not necessarily a perfect panel line right now, but it still will look really, really good once we wipe it away afterwards, in addition to that. So don't worry that the panel line doesn't look perfect at first. You're going to wipe away excess later, after it dries, and it's really going to clean itself up. And you can see like there's a lot of deformities and the line is not crisp there at all. Not like with the paint. The paint will be nice and crisp, but so that's a really good question here in the chat is, would I need a darker color? So And we're absolutely going to do that as well. So I'm using black right now. And you'll see, so here's actually a piece of the waist where we have our gray and we have our navy blue as well. I'm not going to use the exact same black. Now granted, with these dark ones, I do make usually a custom bright panel liner. That's the only way you can describe it. I use my chrome paint with a little bit of water. Actually, like 1 drop of paint for 1 drop of paint, 3 drops of water is usually my recipe for it. And that'll actually make it so that you can panel line with a bright color and it gives it a white effect. That's what you saw in my Deathscythe panel back and home. And so you can still see it's still panel lining on the dark colors as well. Black does really, really good, pretty much almost against any color. And so we got panel lines for even the navy blue. You can see that black line now. You want to be able to see that before. So it does a good job as well. But it's sometimes super fun to do that, like a bright color panel line against the dark. Particularly looks well on black. So we're going to do this. You can still see it's showing up in that dark gray as well. You can do it on the back specifically, right here. And yep, you can see a panel line. Even on the dark colors. Black is really just a great base to go with for panel lining. Now you can use like a light gray or a brown. Brown works great on like red colors. It works great on yellows if you have panel lines that you need to do in that. Sand based colors as well. Black works there too, but it makes it look not nearly as natural just because it's a heavy color. So it's very heavy, very, very heavy. I'm not even being careful at all with that one. But that's alright. And actually panel lining can be super quick, but it adds such flavor. Like look how that waist looks now. It's got so much pop. So much pop across the board there. Absolutely, I personally am absolutely in love with how it looks. And so I'm gonna put that to the side. The waist is actually done here. Yeah, black is, once again, it's a great way to start for almost any color. Once again, unless your mobile suit is going to be absolutely like full on yellow or red. Granted, Aegis is going to be red, but Aegis being dark, I mean, I guess technically it's going to be a dark red if you're going to paint it, or whatever color you're going to paint it. Anyway, point of the matter is that it should be just fine, one way or the other. So we got a little bit of a lip right here, and so we're actually going to panel line that though as well. And once again, we're literally letting the lip hold the panel line as much as possible. And that's it. We're gonna let it dry, and then we'll wipe away excess in a moment. Pretty much like when I mean moment, like almost close to the end of the show tonight. So there's actually one leg panel line. Not much to do on this unless you want to describe it and really give it some depth. Another really cool thing you can do as well, and I did want to do this on this one. So I'm actually going to take off an armor piece here, and I'm going to, excuse me, paint the inside of this armor piece with that black. Wipe away excess as soon as it happens. I'm only going to do this on this one side though, and yes, this is the inner part of the leg though as well, just to show you what it looks like. And so we have a little bit more depth right there. That's what that will cause. Not too much. Not overbearing if you ask me. but just enough to make it still look like the armor pieces are separated. It's a great way to show off if you want to show off any like grime or weathering at that point. Painting between those seams or plated pieces like that. I am going to show though, once again, got a little bit right here. It's stuck in some sanding spots because I didn't seal it over. Literally just at that point, just sand it again with your highest grit and it goes right away. Oh, I accidentally wiped away the panel line right there. Look at that. Not granted, not granted, wow. It's totally my catchword tonight. So, if you do have a Gundam specifically you want to do some weathering on, sand down that area first and then just put a wash right over it and it looks absolutely wonderful. I don't see that technique nearly enough online, but I've seen it done on, like, let's see how to say, military models. Like, I've also looked into those as well, and with the military model kits you'll see that that's what they'll do. They'll sand down an area and then put some wash on it, and it just sticks in there and makes it look so crisp for its weathering. Alright, so I'm going back here and just wiping away excess so the lines are nice and tidy. And that's it. Now we got nice clean lines. We got everything panel lined in general. Look at that. Deathscythe got a right leg finished up. So we got it back into place now. Actually, I prematurely did that. I shouldn't do that yet because we have decals to do. Alright, so I'm going to leave that alone for a second and I'm going to just go to panel lining work on the legs and on the buster shield. That's what we need left to do. So stay tuned, chill out and relax, listen as we work. And yes, I've decided to leave those scratches. I actually kind of like how they came out there. Not intentional, but they look great. For these inner pieces, I'm actually just going to wash the whole thing, and it actually just makes it nice and like shaded on the inside. I don't know who it was of Rich Airline, but they were not gentle with my luggage this time. Opened up my bag and all my Gundam tools and everything just came pouring right on out. And there was no TSA notice, like that TSA had looked in my bag or anything, so it kind of was really a bummer to find out that they just tossed it around. Granted, I guess you expect that when you fly, but still, it's not happy. It's because of that bird that hit the engine. Option to panel line all up underneath here. Accepted. But I'm not going to be very careful here. I'm literally just going to go at it and fill it in these gaps because, once again, it'd be a nice grimy area in real life. Because this would be mechanical, so there would be oils and stuff all over the place, so once it dries up it'll look really, really good underneath there as well. So just being very carefree with it. Doesn't have to be tight. And actually, a lot of your panel lining doesn't have to be tight at first, because once again, you just wipe it away if you're using a wash. You don't get that same effect with the Gundam marker. It does show you to erase it, but it's just not the same effect. I'm not a huge fan of the Gundam marker, actually. I bought a couple of them actually, and their tips just dry up so fast. And they don't play well with paint, if you ask me. They perform well with lacquers, but not paints. There we go, got all that one panel lined up. Completed leg. You could do a little bit of here. Actually, I like doing this for the bottom of the foot. I'm just gonna get a bigger brush here, big head, and I'm literally just gonna go to town and just go all over it. Because what's gonna happen with the foot? It's gonna be super dirty because it's stepping on the ground all the time. But I'm gonna get to show you something pretty cool with the wash though as well. So pushing all this wash on there, and I'm literally gonna blow it just so it's not shiny. Like right now it's still shiny, but once it's lost most of its shine, just go right over with a rag of some kind. You see that's pulling it off. This actually gives it a nice little gritty effect. So it doesn't show up so heavily in this one because it's dark, but you get a red shoed mobile suit, or even gray, and it'll look real clean. Real clean. Or should I say real dirty. Never thought you'd have a use for a toothpaste cap until you started building Gundams. Yes, save those caps. They are great for just small amounts of paints. They make a great little paint palette. You can literally get them from anywhere, right? As well. So they're just so good for holding paints, especially if you're going to be brushing. I brush a lot as well, especially when it comes to panel lining and adding finer details. I like brushing. These are actually real horsehair brushes as well, but they're worth every penny to me. I think I only paid like $10 for them. It's a pack of three different sizes. So there you are, the 3 different sizes for them. All right, gonna let that sit just a little bit longer. Actually, I put a little bit heavier coat in that one, which is not bad at all, but still did it. All right, so I'm going to do one more thing here, and so I've mentioned the painting specifically as you know, for these deeper lines. Showed you my main brush. This is my main go-to for it as well. We're going to clean that up. Good news is about washes. They're all very water repellent, so they really repellent. Is that the right word? They wash really easily with water. So my brush is already clean. Just dipping it in the water, basically. So anyway, the reason I mentioned that is that I got a super fine tip brush. This is super fine. So and I want to show you this as well. Like, you don't find these at every hobby shop, but they're good to have as well, specifically for these big gaps or for these deep ones. So you put that paint on there, it hugs right in between the actual panel itself. It does require multiple strokes and maybe even multiple dips because it doesn't hold a lot of paint, but for these spots you'll get a nice clean line from the start, like that. If you don't have one of these, I was very fortunate to find one at a hobby shop in San Francisco. But if you can find one of these these are meant for like miniature figurine painting, but they work great for Gundam panel lining, especially on master grades. Especially. Just once again, you have to dip your brush a whole lot more because it doesn't have hardly any bristles to hold it. I probably should get a new one. This one's like 3 years old. Oh, I went outside of it. There we go. Nice and clean. Do the same thing here in the front. This one should be a little bit easier because it's not separated, it's not two pieces combining together. And last but not least, our final panel line that we need to do. Got my knee joint in the way. Final technique that I'll share on this is that for some of these bigger pieces where the panel lines are easy to see, it's really great to do those panel lines on the runners themselves. If you're not going to paint it or anything of the sort like that, it's great to do the panel lines right there on the runner. You have an easy way to grab it. You don't have any other parts usually in your way. Makes it nice and easy to work with. Or, once again, just clip it off the runner and then do the same thing. I do not like to use this though for like these, like you're mentioning, these crevices and stuff like that. I like to go back to my bigger fine tip brush. Actually got a little bit of black still stuck on there. That's why you also bring paint there. Clean out that brush if there's any issues. Wow, how did this get so dirty? It's actually probably been a very long time since I used this brush. That's what it must be dirty from. I don't know, it's just been oh wow. Has it really been that long since I fully finished a Gundam? Anyway, let's finish Deathscythe. He's begging to be completed now at this stage. Do some panel lining right here. This one is also a synthetic hairbrush. It doesn't hold paint nearly as well as a real one. A real hairbrush, that is. Almost done. It's really fun once you, if you ever get your hands in a real grade, that's where you get to see some real panel lining. It's fantastic, unless you want to scribe. If you're going to scribe a piece, then obviously you make your own panel lines at that point. So if I see anything, like a lot of scribing that I see sometimes does not make sense. And what does that mean is that some people just scribe to scribe parts. Like there may be like a little bit of scribing here in real life, separation of panels with the creation of it. So one thing I've really learned from Kevin Zhang is that when you're gonna scribing, look at other sources, look at airplanes, look at cars, tanks, see what the plates meet and how they meet. They're never really like, they're not squared off or anything like that. They're not super angular though as well. Like, so look at those type of panel lines before you actually start to go, and then also draw panel lines if you're going to scribe though as well. So for instance, is, you know, this may actually have in real life, if this was a real mechanical beast, we probably actually have a panel that goes across here and then probably kind of angles up like this and then goes like that, very similar to what we see already here, and then matching it possibly on the back just to this point, and then scribe right down here all the way down, as a matter of fact. And so drawing that on there first would be really a great way to do it. However, if you want to, I mean, the next Gundam we can choose to do some, if we do a high grade, we can do some panel line. We're definitely going to do some scribing. I always do some scribing on high grades just to get rid of seam lines. It's so much easier. It's so much easier than sometimes fixing them up. So, anyway, gonna get rid of the scribe lines that I did make, the mock ones, and gonna clean up these panels. There we go. All of our panel lining is done, which I am super excited for, because now my favorite part of GunPla building in the first place is decaling. We can get a fresh cup of water. Oh, I forgot my knife. I'm gonna need a knife today too. One more thing. I thought I had everything today, but I forgot about the knife. Fresh blade, because I used the other blade to, as a matter of fact, use the other blade to finish up my, what's it called? The scratch building. So we're definitely going to finish the weapons with their panel lines tonight. And if you're looking to stick around just for a little bit longer, maybe we'll do a little bit of the... Actually, no. I can't commit to that, guys. I can't commit to it because it's getting late my time on it. I'm on Eastern time zone right now, so... And, of course, work still beckons. Alrighty, so... Pulling out my Buster Shield. That's the piece I want to do first. I actually need to tidy up some of the lines right here as well. Oh, such a difference. And so easy to do. You can actually kind of see how it looks a little bit grimy underneath there now. We get definition with the panel line, so it looks real good. All right, so we got some. We're actually going to even grab some other specific decals as well. All these Gundam wingsuits come with these extra ones right here that are just logos of the unit number and everything. So these are the ones that we're going to just throw in some random spots. More specifically, you're going to throw one on the back of the Buster Shield. Well, the top part right here. If I have space, as a matter of fact, it doesn't look like I may. Oh, nope, I will, because these are red panels. These are red. And we do not have. Putting red decals on top of red are not going to be visible. In case you didn't deduce that already, they are not going to be visible. So that's why we're going to go straight here with our black D. Actually, our white one, excuse me. And did the exact same thing on my Deathscythe Hell Buster Shield. Got some tweezers here. I dip it in for about 10 seconds. Hilarious. How much water is in there, guys? Because it looks like a whole bunch of nothing. All right, going to work on some decals now. Let's check it out. Leave it in for about 10 seconds. Put it on a cloth once again for about a minute. We're gonna go ahead in the meantime start planning out our next one. So we need 44 and 45. We got 43, 44, and 45 are over here. See, there's a lot of decals still left over. I know these are for the wings, but what is all that for? If now it's going to be extra for other mobile suits, that's going to be fantastic. I get these ones dipped in there. Oh, I did not bring any toothpicks. Well, it looks like we're going to have to go the old-fashioned way with the tweezers across the board and a good old-fashioned finger. Line this up, press down nice and firmly. There we go. First one down. I'm going to use another napkin here to very gently dab away the excess water without moving it. Oh wow, it's so crooked. You should have told me that. Yes, all of you that are watching, you should have said, hey, that is super crooked. And even though I am from the southern states, guys, I am not cross-eyed. Even though I have met a fair number of my people that are. And it's not true what they say. You do not become cross-eyed by crossing your eyes. I actually think the only people that I've known with it have actually got them surgically taken care of as well. Good for them. Good for them. Super random topic. Super sorry about that as well. It's very common in my state though. All too common. Alright, here we go, our next piece as well. That looks a heck of a lot bigger. than what it's supposed to be. I think it's because I got it in the wrong spot. I think it goes over here. Yep, that looks about right. Same thing over here. Alright, there we go. Got those pieces done. We got some 14. What is that? It looks like it's white. Could be some white on yellow. Shouldn't be too bad. Number 14, 14, 14. Oh, yeah, very interesting. Oh wow, those decals are going to be hard to place. I've actually never seen a decal like that before. It's right here. Super hard to see as well, but it's a white ring. Two of them. Yeah, I definitely remember those even in my other Deathscythe. Alright. Let them dry out a little bit. We are looking now at, in the meantime, 28, both sides. Whoa, look at all those 28s. Oh, so that means we gotta do it top and bottom. That's what our both sides means there. So we're gonna need 4 of them and 2 cuts. Total of 6, which means that there's gonna be 2 probably extra hanging off. I'm gonna drop these in here real fast. 10 seconds. Put on my tissue, and now let's. Oh, yeah, these ones are ready to be moved. Alright, these ones are gonna be super hard to place. Just because there's no real guide for it. Like, you can see what they look like in the picture, but you have to try to get the angles just right. Looks like we're gonna have to do a fair amount of moving after we place them down. This one's stuck to my finger this time. I'll try to pull it off with the tweezers specifically here. Go. So you can see, like, look at that angle. It's just, it's tough to get it exactly like it needs to be. I think that looks all right. I think that's what it came out looking like. Those 2 little white rings still look a little bit uneven. I think it's gonna have to do. These are some hard ones. These ones, on the other hand, should be super easy. red dot lines up with here at the bottom, like such. Same thing on the other side. Like that, but not done yet. It even goes even more on the other side. So right there. And there's also some additional stuff I think on the side of it. So we just need to get a picture of that. Yep, just a few more. Just a couple more while we're waiting. So we have a 43 and 42. I think I saw those a little bit earlier. Yep. Got them right here. There we go. Alright, let's get these other ones placed down first. We're probably going to finish up just the Buster Shield, and then we're going to have to call it a night. Gonna have to call it a night. Sadly, Gundams don't pay for themselves, so we gotta go earn the monies to build more. But it's all about, oh, so what? You know, supporting the family is important, taking care of others that are around you. Yes, absolutely. But really, let's be real. Nah, I'm joking, right? Sure, we all have our reasons why we go to work, why we go to school, study, do the things we do. Then we got 43. Let's see, we got squares. Where's the squares go? Like that, okay? Whew, almost done here. Lots of work done though too. Well done. Well done sticking for it. It's all for Gundams. You gotta get into the shows too. Go watch some Gundam Wing. It's on Hulu, the whole thing, both English and in Japanese. I actually really do. I still like for Gundam Wing. I do prefer the English dub over the Japanese. My favorite characters in Japanese are just garbage. They're just unenthusiastic voice actors. That's probably why they never used them again. Oh, I prematurely. Probably needs now a little bit more water on it. The real question is what do we do with these bad boys? I don't know where to put these. Haven't decided yet. I don't know if I want to go across one of the shoulders. Oh, Squid Game? I'm gonna have to look into that. Is that a TV show? Believe it or not, mainly if it doesn't start with Gundam in the title, I haven't probably watched it too much. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is one of my exceptions. I'm all about that show. Going through season 8 already a second time now. Just because it's available on Halo. Alright, there's one side. Alright, there we go. All decals that we're going to do for this have been now attached. I'm thinking it looks pretty nice in general. Some nice final touches as well. I don't know if I've got time for a Korean drama in my life because I've got too much Gundam drama to deal with, which is what I want to have. It's a problem that I want to have. So, anyway, so there's our finished pieces. We got our panel linings done for our legs. I'm going to put the legs softly back together just because, just to get a good look of what they all look like. I mean, who doesn't want to see that? Oh man, just look at that. Look at that. It's so awesome to see when it comes together like this. So, also, a lot of the decals. The reason why I'm going to keep the legs off for now is the decals themselves will be easier to put on when the legs are actually not connected to the unit. So, if you want, I'm able to finish up the decals. Nope, I'm not going to finish up the decals. I'm going to wait for you guys. We'll do it this coming Sunday. Finish up the decals. We'll probably just do full decals across the board because we have the waist, the legs, and then of course the good old scythe to finish up. And so let's get a snap build together again as well. It's amazing what the panel lining does for it. It really, really is. Panel lining makes it look so good. I was scared at first myself, and then I was like, you know what, let me take the plunge. You know, what's the worst that's going to happen? It doesn't look good at first? Well, there's different ways to erase it. Use alcohol, use paint thinner. And then that way you learn. I am digging this Deathscythe. It looks so much like the anime, but has so much additional flair though as well. Run that Buster Shield. I was super nerdy, and I mean, even in a hotel, I was posing him as well. And I'm gonna lay him down, but this is basically the pose we were going with for the day. Let's look at it. Standing. Oh, catching on that cable. There's our Deathscythe. Just chilling. So, still, like, look at all those panel lines, but it looks so done. It's so weird. I'm explaining panel lines. Just look at all those decals that are left, but it looks so done. So I'm super excited to see how much we have left over as well, and to see where the rest of these go. In addition to that, imagine we're gonna have a lot on the legs, but we're gonna have a lot left over there too, which is super exciting. Don't ever throw away decals. Once you try them out, don't ever throw them away from any model kit. You're about to have some in that master grade Aegis. Don't get rid of them. It's going to make a world of difference to be able to drop it for your next model as well. So, anyway, it is getting super late. It has been a great time as well. We got, once again, a standing Deathscythe over here. Just look at him. Look at him one more time. I'm just... He's so sick. He's so sick. I love that color scheme. The colors just have come out so well. So I'm very, very happy with them. So So can't wait to see him fully finished up with all of his decal work. It's going to be fantastic. So anyway, that is going to be it for tonight. We will catch up with you tomorrow, Gundam Wings Day, and yes, Wing Gundam. Wing Zero also made the trip and journey out here as well. We got arms to do, we've got legs to finish, and we have panel lining all for it as well. So that's what we're looking forward to. I have been having him laid out on the desk ever since I got here because I am so ready to put him together, and he is so close to being done. So he doesn't have any decals to do, so he's going to be just panel lining and finishing up from there. But all right, without any further ado, sorry to keep everybody waiting. You have a wonderful night. We'll catch up with you later.